my mind. Gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
Don't like the video, don't share, don't subscribe. The market's bedlam. It's all over. Everyone go home. Run. Get all of your money in dollars. Dry powder. Cash is king again. It's all over. I was just kidding. Do the exact opposite of everything I just said. We're going to jump into it, though. We're going to go straight into business today. And the reason being is I put this video off because yesterday the market was crazy. We're also doing something that we don't normally do on Bag Talk, which is I'm going to pull up everything, just like what Cat Williams says. Everything. We're going to go look through it. Hopefully this adds some value, shows you exactly how I'm actively navigating this crisis, because I get people who always hit me up and they're like, are you okay? They're like, my Bitcoin cost average is around $30,000, a little bit under. Yeah, I'm fine. Like, there's just nothing to really be concerned about because A, I've seen this 4 other times now. And secondly, I'm not gambling with the rent money. Like, I don't need the money right now. Thirdly, I have multiple mechanisms. I don't have the whole farm bet on one thing, which is actually, I'm not going to say that. I do have the farm bet on one thing. My farm is bet on Bitcoin. And I still believe that we have a higher probability of going to $1 million than to $0. So I have nothing to worry about. Thirdly, I'm still buying. Fourthly, we've had to make some adjustments. And that's the reason I'm bringing this up. I don't want to wait until the end of the month to talk about this because this is happening now. Every once in a while, I'm going to do some temperature checks, some check-ins. You guys let me know if you like this style of content a little bit better, where it's like, hey, this thing is happening right now. How am I pivoting? What am I doing? What does my financial situation look like? So let's jump right into it. We'll start off with the portfolio. It's disgusting right now. We're down 22%. Oh, actually, no, it's actually worse than this. We're down 30.3%. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, the number's gotten way smaller. I haven't updated this. I haven't refreshed the screen since the last time. We're not going through anything else. We're just looking at the straight numbers. This is crazy. And what you're seeing here is what happens. It's volatility. I have this holding of Bitcoin in the reserves. It's down 30%. Now, if we keep these numbers next week, obviously we will have some buys. We are in amplified Bitcoin purchase range as well. There's number went down. It's what it is. It's what happens. We went down 30%. I mean, for reference though, my 30% drop took a couple of weeks. Gold and silver both dropped 30% in a day. People are scared. What's going on? People are scared. I don't understand what it is with the peasant-minded. Actually, it's just that they're peasant-minded, where people want to sell off stuff to have dollars. People are still clinging to dollars, where they're getting debased regularly. I have an inverted view of money. So, like, I look at that and go, you're stupid. Like, hopefully you got something you wanted, but you're in dollars. And unless you're rolling into another asset, you're quickly moving towards the wrong side of this K-shaped economy to where everything's going to be expensive. You can't afford eggs. You can't afford to exist. You can't afford to eat. I do not understand people who still believe in dollars. It is crazy to me. So that's the first thing where I can say that I am 100% different, because I see the market go down and I go, I need to get rid of more dollars. Everyone else goes, oh, I got to have dry powder. I'm going to buy back in lower. I'm trading. Like, okay, cool. Do that. But what are you trading for? You're trading for dollars. So like, you're like, that doesn't work for me, because like you're in the medium in which I don't want to be in. You can have all of the dollars. all of them. And when you have to push a shopping cart down to Kroger to get yourself a loaf of bread, you enjoy that life because then everybody's going to be a millionaire for the wrong reasons. So that's the first thing. People are selling. They're selling scared. It is predominantly retail that is selling. And then on the flip side, you're consistently seeing institutions buying. MicroStrategy, probably getting ready to do a buy. They buy every week. Metaplanet, Strive, 21 Capital, all of them. They're going to scoop up these dips. You are selling. This is a one-to-one thing. This isn't stocks. And that's the thing that people don't understand about Bitcoin specifically is this is not a stock. It's not like, I'm just going to put it out there in the market and eventually somebody will get it in the brokerage house. Will just buy it and they'll take the spread on it and it's just going to go somewhere. Like, no, someone else is on the other side of that purchase. You're selling. If you sell your Bitcoin to me, I'm not giving it back. If you sell your Bitcoin to MicroStrategy, they're not giving it back. So you got to wait for a bigger idiot than you to sell to bring the price down so that you can buy back in lower. Now, for those of you who sold at 126 and are buying back now on the trade, okay, you're a genius. I don't live in hypotheticals, but the thesis that I have of Bitcoin going to $1 million, I don't want to give up any opportunities personally because I'm an investor. I am not a trader. I never put myself out there as a trader. I'm not good at trading. I'm not even good at gambling. So that's just not my proclivity. I would rather have more Bitcoin, period, which means I just indefinitely buy. I don't want to pay the taxes on selling Bitcoin. I don't want to participate in the fiat system any more than I have to. But one of the things I do like to do whenever possible is leverage Bitcoin. I can leverage Bitcoin to get fiat, not pay taxes, and then also not have to deal with potentially getting caught on the wrong side of a trade. Because obviously, if you sold at 126 and you're buying now, you're buying back in now, and you actually saved all that money, which, let's be honest, most traders don't. You don't. Because if you guys were that good, you would have hedge funds. That's just the reality of it. Like, you're not as good as you say you are. You post the wins, like anyone who goes to the casino. They tell you about the good night. Oh, I won $5,000 tonight. But over the course of the month, they lost $40,000. They're in crippling debt. They have a bookie that's chasing them around. They're probably about to get their fingers and their kids taken. But they'll tell you about the $5,000 night like they did something. And like I said, you can only fool bigger fools. You can only fool someone who's below where you're at. That really doesn't affect me because I work in a field. That's what my career is, what my business is in, where I work with people who are millionaires, multimillionaires. And while you do hear about them having a great run on a stock, none of them got rich trading. Not a single one. I've yet to meet in my region a person who was like, how did you get here? And they were like, you know what? I day traded the whole way here. That's what I did. I've never met one. Not a single one. A single one in 12 years, actually 13 years in an industry where I'm only around millionaires and up and some billionaires. Not a single trader. Not a single one. Not a single one. Did they have good trades in their portfolios? Absolutely. But is that how they built their wealth? No. No, they're not day trading. They're not going in and talking about the $600 they made this week on their trade. And so, like, I know that most people aren't keeping those gains and going, oh, yeah, I sold at 126 and had $126,000 in dry powder tool just now. But if you did, kudos to you. The brass that you have, you should have a hedge fund and you should be working on establishing that. Like, you should probably send your trade record to Wall Street so that way somebody can get you plugged in because they're looking for you. Great, great opportunity. You'll be rich. So I just buy. That's my methodology. That's my ideology in regards to the Bitcoin deal. But it's not just Bitcoin that's down. It's literally everything. So we're going to go over and take a look at a few of these portfolios. So I'm actually going to show the brokerage account. Now, the accounts that we're worried about, we're sitting at 41,000. We're getting a little bit of a bounce today. It looks like there's some buys going on in Bitcoin. I got cycled out of a few positions in the income portfolio. The income portfolio is predominantly what we need to talk about today. We've cycled some positions. Now, this is going to come up again on our monthly update, but we had to pull some positions. So now we were sitting at around 40. We're at 38,000 now, which thank goodness we're where we need to be on that. But yeah, YBTY ended up hitting our stop loss metric. TSYY, you guys saw that in the video. I said I was cutting boat at 450. I cut the boat at 449 because when I checked over lunch, when I went on my bathroom break, it was at 449. So that's when we cut the boat. It's a stop loss metric. This is one of the reasons that I always keep an evergreen list. Does that mean I am done with TSYY? I will never buy YBTY ever again, or I'm done with TSYY? No, it does not. But it gave me an opportunity to do a couple of things strategically. Because the entire market was down. Like TSPY, which is my kind of filter, which is back up now. That lets me know what the SPY is doing, so I can see it in the portfolio. It's a cash reserve position, which we are looking at potentially making some moves on a couple of cash reserves positions today. So we'll probably be bringing STRC down to 1 share because we're deploying. Because that's the other thing. We are deploying cash reserves because not only are we having to cycle because the market is down, stuff is in such sell range that it's almost impossible to, I mean, if you're not deploying dry powder now, like when are you going to, are you just like holding cash, in my opinion? Like 30% retracement and you're not deploying no dry powder, you just like holding cash. Just say that. You're scared to deploy. So our cash positions, we are systematically bringing those down to 1 share. And the reason I bring them down to 1 share versus going to 0 and fully deploying them is if I sell out all of the position and then immediately start buying it back, it like throws you into a category of high frequency trader. And you have to wait like 30 days to not catch that flag. And I'm not a high frequency trader. It's just the market's down. And while we build these positions up slowly, I also do deploy my cash reserves during times like this. That is one of the most important things that I could say is I don't stack the cash position just to, it helps with the margin, but I'll start systematically pulling. I'm going to try to keep the TSPY going. The WPay I'm not going to touch just because we get so much utility out of that position, even though it's down and I hate it. We get so much at this juncture, so much padding for our margin that this one won't be touched. But STRC and TSPY are on the block. STRC being the first one because I can always buy back in on that. But the new entries into the portfolio, what do we cycle into? I went ahead and added May, which is graniteshares Marathon Digital covered call ETF. And the reason I did that, it's sitting at number 1 on their deal on the spreadsheet. The other reason that we did this is because at this point, when I see that I'm down 30% on Bitcoin, I start loading the boat up on Bitcoin. So I'm going to start filtering in as we're cycling through, filtering in Bitcoin specific positions. We sold off a little bit of TSLW because that position was a budding liquidation metrics, our stop loss area, but I don't just dump normally because this isn't at a dump price for me. So I took 50 shares off this. We put them into May. The other thing that we added back in ulty. Ulty was one that I've ridden multiple times. One of the things that I do, and this is just my ideology, is when ulti reverse split, I got out before that. I got out when I was still in a good position on the ETF, and I've been watching it. And so, this is a volatile position, but it's been staying stable. The important thing is having your stop losses for your positions. I do not ride any position emotionally. I almost did with Misty, but we got out with a 20% total return on that. So good for me, but I do not get emotional with anything. The only thing that I'm really going to be hard up and probably won't sell is Bitcoin. All the rest of this is utility. This portfolio is utility. This is a business. Each of these positions has a role. My high yield, my ulti, my TSLW, my semi, my May are employees. If they're not doing a good job right now, I fire them and bring in someone off the bench who's going to do a good job or a better job. That's just what it is. I am not beholden to any position in my portfolio, and if it hits my cut bait metrics, I am getting out of that position, and I'll keep an eye on it to look and see when I want to get back in. Now, normally what I'm doing with these positions now is I'm giving them a $2 to $3 window before I cycle out, depending on where we end up at fully positioned. So like for me, I've got another roughly $4,000 that I want to put in here. Semi, we're keeping the position at $10,000. It's in a range that's acceptable to me, and we're doing pretty good in total returns. I look at two things, the NAV and the total return. If the NAV gets too low, then I cut bait. If the total return gets, for a working position, around 5%, with the exception of my round hills because those are long swings, we will, for those positions specifically, I give a little bit more leeway. But for all my granite share positions, more or less the working ones, it's 5%, around 5%. I'm like, I'm looking at getting done with you. And then between 5 and 10 for sure, like you're out between in that window of space. Or if it hits a NAV level that I'm like, hey, I'm not going below this point, which for me at present is $4.50. Now, would I ride May down to $4.50 if it's paying well? Yeah. If it stays number one and it keeps paying and I'm at a total profit on it, yeah. But $4.50, I'm out. And they'll be like, oh, well, the NAV's down $6. Well, if I was just indefinitely reinvesting in this portfolio, which I'm not, then that'd be a different conversation. But the dividends out of here are going to pay off and manage debt and pay my mortgage and pay my car note and pay for all my stuff. And I'm staying fully invested in the portfolio. So all the income that comes in here, unless it's a newer position or it's a cash reserve position, because my cash reserve positions I have set to drip. So STRC, TSPY set to drip. Everything else is working. WPay is not set to drip because I don't want more of it. Actually, I might get the 5 shares, but I want to get my portfolio to a point to where I can afford to, from a margin perspective, to get rid of this position. And whenever we get to that spot, that's going to be what it is. Most likely, as I stated, as you will hear, like we have a certain metric when this portfolio gets to a certain value, whatever's left of my consumer debt, I'm going to just clip out of this portfolio to get it paid off. And WPay is going to be on the chopping block for that for sure. And I'm going to replace it with something else. But ulti is a working position that also gives me more margin. So we've got a little bit going into ulti. And honestly, with the way that this has been performing in comparison to the other counter position that I was going to split this position with, I might be going back all in on ulti. I've had good experiences with ulti even up until the reverse splits. The original reorganization, I did a good ride on the wave off that. Post reorganization, we'll see how it does. So far, I'm sitting pretty with it. I really like Semi. Semi's been performing really well for me as well. That's another top performer. I think moving into this space where Bitcoin is, in my opinion, in a bottoming out / bearish / shake out the rest of the retail investors so that all the institutions can get in at a good price that's not over $100,000, which this is a great price. If you were an institution eyeing to get in at over 100, this is amazing that they've been able to sucker people out of their positions so much that Bitcoin is down this low. But it's not just Bitcoin, it's the entire market. The entire market is struggling. If you're in anything right now, it's pretty terrible. So February being a hard month, this is going to be on the trends that I look at for myself. This is going to be a reorganization cycling month for me moving forward, because there's going to be likely, based on all the history, including this February, that market's going to be turbulent, probably down in February. Pretty awesome. So we're starting some cycles. We're cycling in more Bitcoin touching product now. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with that. We're going to be building this ulti position. Now, the May position, we're going to be aiming for $10,000. The ulti position also looking at roughly $10,000. And at a certain point, I might move over some of this WPay into ulti, because while it gives less margin, it still gives margin. And obviously, as the pay comes in, if we're still down in the dumps or climbing out of the dumps, we're fully invested. So the entire paycheck hits this portfolio. And then we add to that income pool. This is what I'm actually doing and what the actual numbers look like. It's like not all roses and berries. Like it's not pretty. You have to go through the hard times to reap the rewards. I mean, it's just what it is. Like there's no straight lines up. Now, for the context, I'm going to go ahead and drop the context on this. We are looking at a 3.8% total profit. We have been just beaten on. And in the cycling, I have dropped. Now, this isn't fully up to date because I did do a buy today as well because I had some income come in. And that's going to go under this percentage, our passive income percentage, but we're at 89.46. So again, my goal for my income portfolio as it sits right now. Now we will de-risk this as we move forward, but keyword here, but we're not going to do that until we get, like, that'll be as this grows, we'll be moving more into the cash reserve, more stable positions versus having these aggressively high yield positions. But since I'm using this and I'm on a trajectory now to where I'm looking to be out of having to go to work within 17 months, the next 17 months, and yes, I am counting them down. This is what's necessary, honestly, because I don't want to move my Bitcoin. I don't want to give up my Bitcoin position at all. I'm going to continue to buy Bitcoin. I'm buying Bitcoin as we continue moving forward. But I don't want to, this is just what's required. Like, you got to run it hot. And then it's almost like, I look at it like launching a car in a drag race. You're smashing the gas to the ground, going as hard as you can, and then as you go, you can, like, you let up towards the end of your quarter-mile run because you don't want to run into the wall or whatever. And as we build these up, we're running hot now. as it's projecting out the future payments, we were sitting at a position to where we were going to be looking at about $3,000 a month. And that's what I am going for, is getting above that $3,000 a month. What we're looking at now is, for the month of February, we're looking at $2,700. I think that we'll probably end up peaking that at about $3,000, hopefully. Looking at $3,200 moving for the longer months. When I'm looking at these graphs, I'm looking at dragging these shorter months up as far as the projection goes. So we're looking at May, November, and January. The shorter months where you're getting the short weeks, if I pull those months up to 3,000 plus, and obviously we're going for as high as we can get, we have a target, our soft target of this portfolio eventually, actually not this portfolio specifically, but cumulatively my portfolio's period, bringing in $10,000 a month total, because I'm going to have some other income portfolios that are going to be specific after I get this portfolio established the way that it needs to be. But as it sits right now, we are now down because we had to do the cycling, so it's got to get its feet under it again. We're at $34,432.71 projected over the next 12 months. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here, which obviously getting to work optional in the next 17 months. They've got us projected out to 2027 when we hit this goal. I think I'm going to hit it at some point, running this portfolio fully invested in 2026. Now, in closing, the other thing that we're looking at here that is pretty beneficial is the amount that we are allocating over to the amplified Bitcoin investments. Now, that is going to be, at this juncture, we're looking at about 30%, because I already I've got 10% that goes directly into Bitcoin. When I get paid, there's 10% that goes over into my long-term holdings portfolio. And actually, let me pull this portfolio back up for you guys too. There's 10% that goes into my long-term holdings portfolio, which has dropped a little bit below $2,000. We had gotten it up to $2,000, but it's a little bit below now. Now we get to do, because under 80, we added another 10, which puts it at 20%. Now it's below 70, which if it stays below 70, we're going to be moving over another, which is an additional. So that's like 40% going into Bitcoin and Bitcoin amplified positions as it sits right now. One other notable thing that is going on here was Strive reverse split on me. Now I've got 28 shares instead of 500. So that's going to change our targets, because this puts us back in the 250 share range, $250 shares, because I wanted to get to 1,000. They reverse split on me. It's 250 shares if we can pull it off at under $10 or around $10 a share. I am now at 28 shares, which puts me in alignment with 21 Capital, which actually is hella on sale right now. So that's going to be changing our buy metrics for when we move over here, because like now my focus honestly at these rates is to go ahead and get my 10 MicroStrategy shares as soon as possible, and then also while scooping up some ASST, but it's not like I'm going to be able to grab them 100 at a time or whatever as I was doing. It's going to be like a few shares, just like what I was doing with 21 Capital. But 21 Capital is back in the running now, because I'm like, well, we're at about the same deal. So like whatever I buy in ASST, I should probably be buying 1 or 2 shares of 21 Capital. So the amplified Bitcoin exposure play is still in full effect. Every check I should be getting at minimum at these rates with the dry capital that I have coming in, 1 to 2 shares of MicroStrategy, and then getting my Strive up also. And, you know, grabbing a share here and there of XXI. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with that, because the range that we're running in right now, because all of the crypto, the amplified crypto, if it's amplified up, it's amplified down, it's just taking a beating, which is good. That means this is on extreme sale. Bitcoin's on extreme sale. This is on fire sale then. And that's kind of where we're at with these positions. And actually, I think that's all I've got for this. I just wanted to go ahead and drop this because it's, you know, it's important. Like, the market's going crazy, and, you know, I generally don't tap in and I keep my schedule. But for this, I was like, you know what, we're going to try something different. So hopefully you guys liked it. You guys enjoyed it. And give me some feedback down in the comments. Just let me know what you thought. These are my thoughts. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm moving forward. The moves that I've actively made, my portfolio with actual numbers and receipts. I'm not going to give you a clipped up image of what I supposedly did today. We do receipts around here. I don't know. I see a lot of these other traders that don't do receipts. They don't even show the top of the chart. Like, they don't show you like what's in there. It's like, oh, this is my account with 20 cents in it. It's up 40% today. Look at me go. Like, all right, cool. But yeah, so this is going to be this week's bag talk. It's obviously a day late, not a dollar short though. And we'll be back next week. This has been a great episode, hopefully. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know how you guys are handling this. This is how I'm handling. I'm pretty excited. I'm just like, for me, when it gets like this, again, I just go, well, I hope some of this dip hangs around till payday. Because, like, when I get paid, I want to buy this too. For those of you who get paid today, this week, you're lucky. You're lucky. And I'm jealous. Till next week, it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and I'm out.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.